4 days to go. We are your election headquarters. Thank you for staying with us. Hope you enjoyed that interaction between former President John Dramani Mahama and, of course, my colleague Emefa Apau. More coming your way on the campaign trail. And it's all about the NPP's campaign in the year 2020. Now, their campaign manager speaks about their party's readiness for the polls. And guess whom we're speaking to? NPP-Mac Manu, none other than, and he has been interacting with Mamavi Owusu-Aboagye. You don't want to miss it. Stay with us. Enjoy.
4 days to the 2020 general elections. You led the campaign back in 2016. This is 2020. How prepared are you for the polls on Monday?
Well, thank you very much, Mamavi. The campaign has been smooth. The campaign has been peaceful. The campaign has been civil, based on ideas. Me and my team, the campaign team, have been working extremely hard because our target, our objective is to win one touch with a margin of victory of over 1.5 million votes in the presidential and 66% of the parliamentary seats, which is close to 198 to 200 seats. So once we had set ourselves these ambitious targets, it only takes a hard work to be able to achieve them. That's exactly what our team, the NPP campaign team, led by me, are doing.
The 2020 team is different from the 2016 team. There are new faces in this team. It's not the same, is it?
Yes, because every election is unique. So you don't expect that 2016 techniques, planning, execution will be the same as in 2020. No. There are different dynamics, and we have to look at the dynamics in terms of the electoral system, in terms of the economy, in terms of agriculture, in terms of education, and what we have been able to achieve to present it to the voters such that it will touch their hearts and subsequently their mind to enable them vote for President Akufo-Addo #1, and our parliamentary candidates also #1 on top, extra.
The people that you have on board in this campaign, do they bring the same things as these other persons who are no longer in the campaign?
You see, you can only prosecute a good campaign when you have an effective party on the ground. That is the New Patriotic Party. You must have the structures, well-trained manpower and human resource at all levels, from the polling station to electoral area to constituency to regional level and then national. If you are to prosecute a campaign solo as an independent candidate, I do not think you can make any good mark. So I have faith in the organizational structure of the New Patriotic Party, and it is on that structure that the campaign and its programming and execution is being predicated.
So are the strengths the same, the previous team and this team that you have?
Oh, certainly the 4 years period, there's been an internal election, like internal elections in our primaries. Some of the executives lost, new people came in, but the party has the machinery. We do a lot of training to build the capacity of our manpower, to bring them to certain levels. So though some lost and new people came in, those who even lost are still brought on board as far as the campaign is concerned.
Wacheja is not on board this campaign?
Yes. Go to the Eastern region.
Is he?
I'm telling you. Or look at his Twitter page handle.
So how is he contributing to this campaign?
Oh, in various ways, in training, in resources and all that.
He supports the president?
Why not? As far as I'm concerned, he does, and he's working towards that.
You've set yourself, and as you say, an ambitious targets. There are various polls that put you in the lead ahead of your main contender, the NDC's candidate, John Mahama. But there is also another poll that uses the statistical methodology that says that it won't be a one-touch victory in this 2020 election.
Well, you see, we do have been told by various researchers and pollsters that we're going to win one touch. Nevertheless, we're not going to go asleep. We are not going to be complacent. We are working extremely hard because, you see, in elections, the magic to the victory is hard work. Our president, our vice president are working extremely hard. The campaign team is working extremely hard. So if you don't work hard, manna will not fall from heaven. So though the pollsters majority, even if the statistical one is saying there'll be a runoff, are saying we are going to win one touch, we are not going to go to sleep. We take it in good strides and work hard. That's the thing we have to do to achieve and maximize that victory.
We've got just a few days, and already the corruption tax on your presidential candidate. How much of that is hurting the campaign, with ASEPA, for instance, going to shrashed, with the NDC making a bribery allegation, ASEPA seeking to get shrashed to get into the matters?
Are you surprised at this? And you don't know election history in this country. In 2008, equally when we were in power like we are, and Nana Akufo-Addo was our candidate, people threw all kinds of garbage about corruption on us. I was tagged as having received billions of cedis in an account in Mr. Bankwa's bank. What's the name? Prudential. And there was a paper circulating around, and my name was in it with that huge amount of money, which I've never seen. And when you total even the entire amount that was on that sheet of paper, it exceeded the asset base of Prudential Bank. I mean, what kind of rubbish is that? And that's the same thing they are perpetrating.
So this is baseless?
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's baseless.
But when allegations like this come around this period with 4 days to the polls, that should mean something. That should tell you something. What it should tell you is that some people are falling apart and they're clutching to the straws, and anything they get hold of, they just want to throw it about. But I can tell you, the Ghanaian voters are very discerning, and they know what is good for them. They know what is good for their children, and they know what will be better for them in the future. Is the campaign team prepared to get shrashed with just a few days to get into the matters so that we will be settled in our minds?
So that we postpone the election? So that we postpone the election? Even COVID could not postpone the election. How much more?
But how would an investigation lead to a postponement of the polls?
But that's what we were trying to suggest, because we have less than 6 days to the election, and you think that SHRAD should probe, get results, call witnesses, etc. They are not serious. If that's what they want to use to win an election, I don't think it will touch the hearts of the voter. No, not at all.
But don't you think there's some kind of damage being caused even with the news out there?
I am telling you that the Ghanaian voters are very, very discerning. And that if you bring the issue of corruption between NPP and NDC, let's check the records. Where are the records on the Airbus? Where are the records on the birds that have flown to Burkina Faso? Where are the records? I mean, there are lots
There is also the Japan transaction.
Corruption.
There is also the Japan transaction. Conveniently, you don't mention it.
Oh, Japan. As far as I'm concerned, Japan hasn't caused any financial loss to this country. So what is the problem with Japan? I mean, you see, we talk about issues of losses to the state. Has Japan caused any loss to this country? Believe me and you, it hasn't. So what is this noise about Japan? People don't have anything to say, so they manufacture lies and throw it about, particularly now that the social media is awash with all kinds of garbage.
So you insist that this is something that has come just to divert attention?
Of course.
It's leading us nowhere.
Of course. It's leading, and if you have been reading the polls that you have, the several polls that you have mentioned, what are the people's responses on these corruptions? None. And that matters most than an individual NDC activist coming on television to spew lies.
Who is the NDC activist?
Oh, Sami Jamfi. Is he not an NDC activist?
What has he said exactly?
Oh, you don't read on the social media what's been going on? I can't bring all of them into this short conversation, but it's been a lot. He's always on your TV spewing lies.
You've also been holding counter press conferences.
We don't hold counter press
addressing the issues that come up, haven't you?
Initially, we started this conversation. I told you that our campaign has been on ideas, on what we have achieved, where we took over from, the mess that we took over from in 2017, how far we have brought the country in terms of agriculture, education, health, transportation, etc., and where we want to take it to after December 7th. That's what I told you. So that's what we speak about.
Is it more challenging trying to retain than trying to win a fresh election? Say you are in opposition like you were and you came into power in 2016.
Oh, if you look at the records, we have come from opposition to win election in 2000, in the year 2000. We lost as an incumbent in 2008. NDC have also lost as an incumbent the last time, and in 2000. So that's why I'm saying I have trust in the discerning Ghanaian voter. They are not stupid. Okay, they are quite discerning and they know what they want. They know what they want. They know what the changes that have been effected since 2017 has made to their lives, to their family, to their children, and to their children's future. That's what I'm saying.
Again, let's talk about what you want to achieve with the parliamentary candidates. But you have quite a number of them who are also going independent because they've been unhappy with one thing or the other. That would certainly cause some kind of trouble for you.
You see, it depends on the constituency. You know, we are having two elections, parliamentary and presidential. And each one has its own dynamics as far as the numbers are concerned. Because with parliamentary elections, you can win with 3 votes, as happened in Tema East, Titus Clover, some in 2012 or so, he won with 3 votes. But presidential, you need 50% plus 1. So if there's an independent candidate, it depends on that constituency, the margin of win that NPP has been obtaining from time to time. If the margin of victory has been 80% and there is an independent candidate, I do not think that the independent candidate and the NDC combined can even overturn the 80%. So you have to look at it case by case basis as far as the parliamentary candidates are concerned. And there are, if you overblow it, that there are independent candidates, how many are they? And what I've come to realize that Ghanaians these days, they don't favor the independent candidates. The last parliament, there was none. Nobody succeeded as an independent candidate. So the track record of Ghanaians voting in independent candidates is not too good.
So you don't see a Joe Osei Wusu kind of situation in this 2020 election?
Not at all. Not at all.
You held perhaps a last IPAC meeting, the Wednesday IPAC meeting. What are some of the issues that came up? What's the Electoral Commission currently working on ahead of Monday's polls?
The EC is saying that Friday is supposed to be Farmers' Day, which would be a holiday. And they think that with the pandemic, that is the COVID-19 pandemic, and the need to space the voters in the queue, there is the need to get voters and the general public to be on holiday so that it does not affect the queuing and the time allotted to voting, which is 7 to 5.
Please explain. Should the holiday be on Monday instead?
Yes, that's what they propose, that they want the buy-in of IPAC so that they apply or sensitize or recommend to the executive president to give Monday a holiday instead of a Friday. And it was unanimously
all the parties
accepted.
agreed.
Yeah.
But so technically what difference would that make?
Monday is a holiday. Then it means that people will not go to work. They will have enough time at their disposal to go and cast their vote, and they in the queue, even if they waste time because we will not be crowded. We cannot be crowded in the queue as it used to be. It has to be. We have to be social distanced, and that will mean that people will not like to be standing in queues for a long time. So a holiday will be in the right direction.
There were issues with minor issues with the special voting exercise on Tuesday. Was that raised at all at this IPAC meeting? There were issues of electoral officials who couldn't vote, but they will be working on Monday, December 7. On my show on Wednesday, the Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Shrebo Kweko, who
was at the IPAC meeting,
did indicate that they had asked their key officials to put such persons at their various polling centers or polling centers close by so they can vote on the days that they are working. Did that come up?
It came up, but not as strongly as one wish, because we thought that it was very minor issue.
So I guess the strongest issue for you at this IPAC meeting was the shift in the holiday.
Yes, and then they also showed to us a list of prison houses where inmates will be voting on the day and the numbers.
Okay.
For example, in Western Region, we have secondary prisons male, secondary prisons female, secondary Equasi camp, which has a population of 106 voters, secondary prison female, which has a voter population of 25, and they have assigned them polling stations and the code. So we went through it to enable us know the numbers, the locations, and then get prepared to send agents to those locations. And that one too, we discussed it, there was no disagreement on the issue.
In terms of logistics, going to the various destinations, are we 100% set with that?
I personally witnessed the distribution of ballot papers and biometric verification device in second D to the constituencies in Western Region. You know, when they were transported from Accra, they were sent to the Sekedi Police Regional Headquarters. So I was there, and it went on smoothly. Everybody was there by, I think, 11, 12. All the constituencies had taken their consignments away. And it was smooth, peacefully done. And I think the EC is doing well as far as getting citizens involved or to know what's going on. Because many people were there, there was no secrecy about it. And you know, the whole thing will start from the printing houses, where agents of the political parties are always there, the bagging, the transporting to the regional centers, where people were there, take the serial numbers of the ballot papers, etc. And now that they have landed in the constitution, we await till the eve of the elections when they will go down to the polling stations. That's fantastic.
Is the campaign team concerned about the issue of people voting and taking photos of their ballot papers?
Well, if you go to Secret Ballot Act 1872, when the Secret Ballot Act was initiated in UK, the reason why it was initiated was to accord voters the secrecy of their votes. Because before then, people were voting in public and people will fight over it, even back then in UK, because people were knowing, people got to know who Mama V voted for, and that could cause trouble. Sometimes in that era, before Mama V comes, he's ejected from his house. The landlord will eject him. So they had a sense that something must be done, and that led to the Balloting Act, the introduction of the Balloting Act in Parliament in 1872, and it was accepted. So if we've gone through 1872 to date, why do you go into the booth to take a shot of the ballot paper? It's not on. It's not on. It's not on. It's not on.
Should people be punished for that? So the Electoral Commission's Dr. Srebo Kweku, for instance, is advocating for custodial sentences for those who were arrested to serve as a warning for people who might want to do the same on December 7.
I do not. I think many people may have done that for one or two reasons. But education too is key. So maybe Dr. Srebo and the National Commission for Civic Education must do a lot of education on that.
But isn't it surprising that these are the uniform, the men and women in uniform, these are media people. It was an identifiable group of people voting during special voting. And for some persons within this group to do that.
Mama V, they are human beings. Media people, we are human beings. So whatever evil is in society, media people too can commit same kind of mistakes or evil or whatever.
But you disagree with severe punishments?
If the law calls for severe punishment, so be it. But I'm saying don't punish people when you have not educated them so much. Because you see, in our society, people don't read enough and are not able to know what the law says. So maybe a little education from NCC and the Electoral Commission itself will help. But ideally, I don't support people going into the booth to take pictures of ballot papers. It's outmoded since 1872. Why are you doing it in these modern times?
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you very much, Mama V.